Hello, welcome to the only place where you can see me, listen to me on the internet. But in case you don't know, I also have a blog where I write. So if you didn't know that, then look for me there too and see my writings there too. Also on the same points, also about living life, self-improvement, about the mind, about sharing myself, and for the support of others. So today we're going to be talking about weakness. What does it mean to be weak? And I can say that I have experience with this where I'm sure we all have weaknesses and have been experienced what it means to be weak. So perhaps to define this word for more context. So one definition of weakness is when you fall into temptation. Let's say you see something and you have a weakness for that. Another definition, like maybe if it's not clear, like maybe you really like something and you always do it, or it becomes like an addiction kind of thing. That's one example. Another definition of weakness is when you listen to someone and you get really angry, for example, that you have a weakness to becoming angry, that you're prone to become angry, to get triggered like that. Another form of weakness is another form of weakness is being very easily going with the flow, being told what to do. If someone gets really angry at you, that you're going to collapse because you want to please them. And so really you're really open to manipulation, to be controlled and told what to do. The same thing with weakness. It's with all the weaknesses, it's all a point where you become something in a way that is if you have no will, no power. That is what I see as the essence of being weak, is where you don't have like the will, the power to move, to decide what to do or how things shall be. So looking at all this, looking at weakness, and how it has to do almost like with a weak spirit, to not to be able to decide, not to be able to move. How I realize within living that within myself as being a person, not necessarily defined by any aspect of me, but just seeing clearly that, yeah, I have a weakness, that I do have the point where I am weak within me. And within that, something that someone told me many years ago, it wasn't personally to me, he just said it, and I heard it, and the point where sometimes you just have to go ahead and just say screw it, and you just have to test something out and let yourself run that risk of being, let's say, screwed over. where where you just really don't have that, you don't have the power, you don't have the control to know what's going to happen. You don't know if something is going to be something like a deception, or what's not is, or you don't know if it's going to be something not best for all, or what the case may be. But that's not within your power to know, so you just have to test it out. You have to actually say, screw it, I'm going to just go ahead and do this with everything I got and just find out. what the truth is, what actually is the case. And when I heard that, that gave me power to test things out, to see how things actually are, to take things to the, let's say, the extreme, to actually where I will know for sure what the result is, what does it matter, what is actually the case, what is actually here. To question, to investigate, to push, to find out. And to be able to, within that, knowing that, yes, I may face failure, I may face seeing something, revealing something about myself which I won't like, which is ugly, which is evil, some you could say, or within others as well, to see manipulation within others as well, or evilness within others. But whatever it is, it will be what is here, and I'll be simply uncovering what is here already. So within all the statements I made, they have a power to them. The power of investigation, the power of honesty, the power of finding out what is here, seeing directly what is here. And being willing to take that to the ultimate degree, to actually find out, to actually know. And that, within that, like the fears, the anxieties, the worries, they disappear. Now, what is interesting, of course, they are still there. And there's a specific point here I want to share where it's the fear that of losing oneself, the fear of losing oneself within something, the fear of going for something, pushing for something, and the fear that one will become obsessed by it or possessed by it and will be lost within it. And so part of me knows that for sure I need to be able to test things out. Another part of me needs to, let's say, have some assurance. And so for me, at least, how I've set myself up is that no matter what it is I'm doing, that there is that point of oneness and equality. There is a point of what's best for all. That is, you could say, my bottom line, where it has to be clear that that's my purpose, that's my reason. That it's not for self-interest, it's not for being selfish, and it's not for making myself feel good, it's not for purely making money, or purely anything else really. It's all about what's best for all. Now within that, I know myself well enough where, yeah, I could take myself down a path where I say it was best for all, but it turns out it's not. So for me, the only one of the conditions I have within myself, you could say it's a promise, that if I do find out that it's not best for all, that I immediately embrace the point, embrace the situation, see the situation for what it is, and just forgive myself for what I've done. Because I do understand that the mind is deep. The mind is very deep in its ability, in its power, in its access to the physical, to basically, let's say, put it this way, it has access to all of my desires I've ever had, all of my memories I've ever had. It has access to all of my history. And so all of that is here, and it's still like alive and active within me. And I do have to become aware of it through time. That time will take years. And throughout the process of years of uncovering myself and understanding who I am in detail, and all my memories and all my history, all my past, all my personalities, all my desires, that I will surely become possessed. I will surely do something which is according to my history, my past, my habits. And I'll only realize it once I actually go through it and actually create a consequence, for example. Now within that, there are certain promises, there are certain points of reference where I can see, for example, with living self-forgiveness, for example, where if I'm unwilling to look at something and forgive it, then that tells me something is off. If, within myself, where yes, I see myself even where I want to deny things and suppress things. And when there's like a physical consequence where it's something which I don't like, which I wish didn't happen, but I know I caused it in some way, that I do embrace it, and I do embrace myself. That I do always have the point where I embrace me, that I am here for me, to really do what's best for all. That's, I won't give up on myself. I won't suppress or shun myself or disparage myself, insult myself, put myself down. That I won't ever make that decision to really embrace that point. Because I do embrace all myself, all that is here. And it is through this process of writing my blog, doing videos, where where I'm progressing, where I actually am making a record of who I am as a person, of what I've been through. And the good thing is that by having that record, having that all mapped out, as is how I've been acting, what I've been doing, and even if I may be writing a reaction where I may be writing with an anger, at least it's there so that later on I can go back and check and see the patterns that have been occurring over years even, where that is there for me to see, that is there for me to investigate, that is there for me to know myself. Because I do understand that I don't have access to everything that is me. I don't know myself completely. I just don't. All I have is the one thought I can see, the one point I can see, the one thing I can investigate, the one thing I can write about, and the one topic I can talk about. And so that is a limitation, and that is part of who I am right now as being human. But that won't limit me. That won't define me, where I will just accept that as who I am and accept that as an excuse to not change and to not take responsibility for myself. And so that's a commitment and a promise I make to myself. And so within that weakness, I do turn into a strength, where whatever it may be, there is that trust which I've been building over years of whatever I see that I see directly is not best for all, I change it. If it's sometimes, and sometimes it's something tricky, like, something which I don't know for sure. I don't understand it. But I know I have a process of simply writing it out and asking myself questions about it. And this I do describe in my blog, and I just shared this process of writing a line. So the main point here is that whatever is coming up within you is you. That weakness that you see, that weakness of spirit is you. And within embracing yourself, you actually give yourself the power and the responsibility to do what's really best for you, which really is what is best for everyone. And that's only the way the world can exist, within equality, where each of us embraces ourselves, embraces our responsibility, our power, our ability to move and to create this world. And whether we know it or not, we are creating this world every moment that we breathe. We have been creating this world, just not within awareness, just not within full potential of who we are as a real breathing creator. We have simply been like a creation itself. We've just been created. We've just been an outflow. We have not really seen or understand what it means to take responsibility for creating in this world. of any sort. What it really means to take responsibility for all the outflows, the side effects, the multi-effects, the effects which build off of one another, which accumulate, that we're not seeing, but we can see. If we take the responsibility to see how deep our actions and who we are, how deep that goes into this world and existence. And it is here for us to see. And so if it is here, it is part of our responsibility. So I do this for you, for everyone, and I do this for myself equally. So take what you can, support yourselves with this. That's the whole purpose of my words, is not to create a good feeling, it's not for any other purpose besides you actually taking the information and using it to support yourself, to become better, to understand yourselves, to change, so that you too can live what is best for you, what is best for everyone. That's the same process I'm walking. We do that together equally. Thanks.